What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. It's been a couple weeks, and this week we find ourselves in Suva City. And the exciting part about being in Suva is that we're not in the jungle, isolated from everybody and everything. So I have chances to meet up with my good friend here, Miles. Thank you, bro. Thank you for getting together. So I'll give you guys a little backstory on Miles and how I met Miles originally, just so you understand why and who he is to me. So every once in a while, me and Stephanie had to come to Suva City. So Fiji is made up of, for those of you who don't know much about Fiji, Fiji is made up, I believe, of over 300 islands, and less than half of those are populated. And so I live on the Fiji's northernmost, or the biggest island to the north of Manulevu, second largest island. Miles lives in the capital city. He's actually not from here, though. This is just where he resides. But he's actually from an old-time resident of Manulevu, right?
Yes. Originally from Manulevu.
There you go. And so when we would come to the city, we'd, go and try different restaurants. And then we happened upon this restaurant named Paradiso. Well, Paradiso, once in a while, has live music. And the night we were there just happened to be Miles and his wife were there. And I was just like, me and Stephanie were chilling. I was like, okay, this is the best thing that I've heard in a long time. And I could say that because one of my favorite things to do where we came from in Kelowna, British Columbia, was to go out and listen to live music. And so what you have to understand is that in North America, music is just a huge thing, especially in artsy towns like where we came from. So at any given night during the summer, you could go out and go and watch live music in one spot. We would just grab a coffee, we go watch live music, then we stroll, watch another guy playing country covers, and then we go watch another guy. And so we just always had this deep love for live music. And so we were going around to different hotels because at that time it was COVID. We could afford to go to certain hotels, and lots of hotels would have live music. So we were hearing different guys during COVID in Fiji, and then we heard Miles, and I was like, man, this guy's on a whole nother level. So when we opened our coffee shop in Manulevu, I was like, as soon as we heard him, I'm like, Stephanie, I don't care what we have to do. We need to get Miles up to Manulevu. That's it. It has to happen. And we ended up making it happen.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And so we've been in Suva. I shot him a message, and we've seen him a couple times live now, and I was like, dude, we gotta do a podcast together and share your story. So thank you for hanging out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. So for everybody who doesn't know Miles Manulevu, where does your story begin? Where were you born?
Oh. I was born in Suva.
Okay.
CWM Hospital.
But you're originally from Manulevu.
From Manulevu. My dad's from Nambuono, Magawata.
So right on the top.
Yep. Right on
Wow.
the top.
Wow.
And my mom is from Sirua Island.
Okay. Cool. So that's what.
Yeah. That's just Bua.
Yeah.
Bua.
So your parents brought you to Suva?
Sorry?
Your parents brought you to Suva?
Yes. My mom was working in a hotel. You seen that hotel, the Tanoa Plaza?
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was called the Bajaya Inn.
Bajaya.
Bajaya.
That's a lot like another word, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Bajaya. Okay, guys? All right.
Yes.
Just,
Right.
okay, all right.
Like Baji?
Like Bajia. Right?
Bajia, yeah. That's the one. See? Bluetooth is on. So my mom and my grandmom used to work at that hotel.
Oh, okay.
So that was back in 1994, I want to say. 1994.
How old are you?
I am 26.
Oh, wow. Dude, he's way younger than me. Yeah.
Yeah, 26. In another alternate universe, yes. Yeah, I'm actually going to be 40 next month.
Oh, okay. Still young. He's still in his 30s.
Just a number.
Yeah, he's still in his 30s. Just a number.
Like 944,
There you go.
Yeah.
So, you grew up in Suva. Where did you go to school?
I went to Holy Trinity here in Suva, primary school.
Okay.
and then went to a DV boys college. It's an Indian school, and then from there I went to Suva Grammar.
Okay.
Sorry, there's some Maris gang off screen.
And what did you? Okay, so like when you're in school, people are like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" So, what was that answer when you were like, getting to those latter years in school? What did Miles want to be when he grew up?
It's funny because I actually wanted to do something like acting.
Oh, okay, yeah. So in arts still in arts.
When I went to high school, there was because it was an Indian school, they didn't have like acting classes, but they had like debates and stuff like that. So I would enter the debates,
Right.
and like act in the debates. So you're supposed to like debate with your opponent, and you get scored on like how good you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So say the
Pick a topic and
say the topic was about the environment and pollution and stuff.
Okay.
So they'd be for the industrial, all these chemicals. They'll be for them. I'll be for the environment.
Right.
And we have to sell the pitch when we debate.
So in debates, do you actually have to fully believe? Do you have to really believe what you're saying, like what you're fighting for, or do they just say, "Hey, you're gonna fight for this, you're gonna fight for this"?
They just gave it to us.
And so even if you didn't care, you still have to find all your points and try to argue the case.
So when they told the opponent, she immediately did all her research, got all her findings together.
Yeah.
Munrao already, this is how it's gonna go. Okay, set and action. That kind of
Wing it. And actually, winging it describes probably a lot of what you see on stage when you go watch Miles, which is unreal. That's where the winging it skills come from. Starts from there.
Starts from there.
So you're set up for a politician or something like that, doing debates.
Yes, but I was more into like the acting thing, but I didn't know where to place it because they only had like the debating team and.
Right.
So when we came for the actual debate, she would hold her paper and have all the notes like jotted down and read word for word what was on it, and everybody be like attentively listening.
Your opponent.
Yeah, my opponent.
Right.
Then when it came to my turn, I walked up and like over dramatically like banged the table. To be or not to be.
Wee-hee, Shakespeare.
And I just hear my teacher off the side. Don't milk it. Just say,
Don't milk
say
it.
the thing and come off stage. So suffice to say, I failed because of my speech. Yeah. So the next best thing was music.
Okay. So you've been doing music ever since, or did you have any other kind of secondary education? Or did you pursue music full time? You said you worked as an electrician?
Electrician, construction, I worked in the butcher. I've done a lot of odd jobs. The only job I have never done is join the police force, join the army, and firefighter.
So no civil servant kind of jobs?
Everything else I've tried. Cashier.
Yeah.
Tried all of it. But in the back of my mind, like the music thing, I don't know where it came from.
Were your parents musical?
Funnily enough, no. My dad was actually against me picking up the mantle of like learning the music stuff, and so I didn't know until like years later why he was that way. My dad's father was a songwriter back in the day.
Okay.
So I just found that out just a few years ago. And, so when his father had his sons, my father and his brothers, he told them the gift of music will end with me. It won't come to you guys. It'll go to your mom's side of the family.
Okay, so
something like that.
hold it. Why would he say something like that? Because he knew that it for him it didn't take him anywhere, or what? Or it took him into a bad lifestyle or something.
Sort of. Yeah. The life of a musician is not exactly something you would wish upon someone else. There, you see the good side, like jamming on stage, but there's also bad side. There's alcohol. There's womanizing.
Right.
There's, all these like drugs and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But it all depends on you. Like if you have a strong willpower, then you won't fall into it. You can make a living off of music.
Yeah.
Without having to do all of that, all the negative stuff. So I think he wanted to protect his sons, and he just said it won't come to the musical talent, won't come to you, it'll come to your mom's side of the family. I think that was. I think that's the way he said it.
Right.
I have to ask my mom again, man.
So, I guess another reason that I wanted to sit down with Miles, for those of you who are, watching this or listening to the audio for this podcast, is because even with what we do with the Waka family stuff, it's not because I want to be famous. It's because we believe that every business should be a social media business. And so first we're building the audience, then we can build the business. But also, like, there might be one person who hears my story or my wife's story or sees themselves in like a family with kids that lives in the village or lives in Fiji and be like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And so one of the reasons that I wanted to sit down with you was because there might be a kid out there who might hear your story and be like, oh, my parents, I think that's really common for kids who are artsy, like whether it's acting, whether it's drawing or painting or music or whatever it is. I think there's a lot of discouragement, like, go get a real job. Like, when are you going to get a real job? Like those kind of, that vibe with parents, right? And so I guess, just that if there's one person listening to this that might hear your story and relate with, yeah, my dad also feels that way, or felt that way, or they might connect with that. So how did you, like, overcome that? Like, did that kind of hurt your relationship with your parents? Did it make it hard for a little while?
Made it hard. My dad would help out other bands that were starting up. Nahutu Solo
Yeah.
was one of the bands my dad helped. He would buy some guitars for some of these bands that were just starting up, and he would bring like five guitars home, and he would never let me touch it.
Whoa.
So then I would meet a friend in school, or Kaitu. I met a friend in school. I was 25, I think, at the time, 24, and then Kaitu introduced me to Trent. Trent is off screen, by the way. He's
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, show our brother Trent here. Is he on screen or is he off screen?
no, Trent.
Okay, show the audience brother Trent here. That's Trent. Bulare. Yeah.
That's
So actually, Trent is actually from Matuata as well. So we're all Manulevu gangs. Yeah. Nurua. Yeah. So how long have you guys been friends for?
I think from when Kaitu introduced me, I was 24 at the time.
Oh, so that's just 2 years ago then, because you're 26 now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, so
you keep track, man. Yeah. Oh, 2 years ago.
it feels like longer.
So Kaitu brought me to a grog session, and Trent and them happened to be there jamming, and I was taken aback by like all the harmonies, and I'm a big sucker for like harmonies.
Yeah.
So Trent sang and Kaitu sang and all the boys in Nandawa sang.
And you're just like,
I just felt drawn to it.
yeah.
So then I would stick close to Trent just to like watch them play. And there was when I got this job with Nematali, I got the audition to go over and try and join their team. I took Trent with me because Trent played most of my songs. I would just sit there and play like G, C, D. That's all I knew.
Whatever. Hey, and we all start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Trent was like a big help in my guitar
Learning. Yeah.
starting off. So
Because you're like a wizard now, man.
Oh, no.
Dude, no, like, you're freaking insane, dude.
I have to give homage to Nemani, because Nemani, I'm where I'm at today because of Nemani.
So he's been kind of like helping you over the years. Really?
Nem has really molded not just the guitar playing. I find like with most of you know how when you hang around someone for so long, their good traits rubs off on you, and without realizing it, you being that person, it's like, oh, you're just like this guy. Like, oh, because you hang around with him like, for a long time.
Right.
So I'm where I am because of them, and I always have to acknowledge them. Chonetono is another. He's played an instrumental part in my guitar learning. So
Instrumental part. Nice.
shout out to Jonathan as well.
Nice. So, I am actually not familiar with, because I'm new, growing up all over the world, even though I'm born in Fiji, having grown up not in Fiji, I'm not familiar with the pop culture scene or any of the musicians. So, but Nem and Tale, very famous musicians, kind of, what do you want to call them, like pioneers, so, in a way. I mean, and Nemani was also part of Black Rose.
Original guitarist for Black Rose.
Original guitarist for Black Rose.
Member, right?
And so I've seen him at a couple of your gigs. I've yet to see the guy play. So this is all hearsay. Maybe one of these days.
He's super humble, bro.
Yeah, hey?
Nem is really humble. For someone that's been in Black Rose and like traveled, like he walks just like how he doesn't walk like this.
No. Yeah.
He's so chill, he's so respectful, he's so humble. If you were to, like say you wanted to learn something with guitar,
Yeah.
if you asked someone to teach you something, they'd probably teach you, like say a third, and keep the best bits for themselves.
Really?
With Nem, he shares everything.
That's so cool.
Yeah, he shares everything. It's almost like it's like a passion for him to just like share and pass on the knowledge to someone else.
So has that culture of being generous with what you know, has that affected you? Like, I mean, just beyond what you know, but like, has it made you want to be like that at all for other people? Because I see it in like, where now I feel like you're one of the talent guys with the talent, and you're bringing on other guys, like Olsen tonight, who are like, just need a little bit more limelight maybe.
Olsen is...
he's insane.
He's a force to be reckoned with. Yeah.
Can he be, like, does he have stuff on YouTube and stuff?
Yeah.
How do people find him on YouTube? Is it
Olsen J. Seppo?
Olsen Seppo? Okay.
If you're watching, just
comment.
Yeah.
Comment on this. Yeah. Because he blew my mind tonight.
Oh, they have a band, Sweet Sensation.
Sweet Sensation.
They have their own page on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And YouTube.
Okay.
And YouTube.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Olsen J. Seppo.
Olsen J. Seppo.
Olsen J. Seppo.
So, the whole point of this is to promote and just like, this is just the first time that we're sitting down together. And so if you guys see this and you guys want to listen to other awesome Fijian musicians who are on the up and up, there's a lot of politics behind music in Fiji and stuff that you might never know behind the different labels and stuff. And there's some cool things happening with new labels that are coming up. But anything we can do to help support like these artists that are on their own, kind of like trying to make it for themselves, I think we should do. And so, yeah, so you met Trent. Yeah.
Fell in love with that whole that camaraderie.
Fell in love with Trent.
Indirectly.
Okay.
Found out that we actually cousins. So,
Right. Okay.
So,
no. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I fell in love with that whole camaraderie, and everybody, like nobody would hog the guitar. You'd sing a song and then pass it on to the next person. Everybody was all about sharing.
Right.
Let everybody take a turn, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then if we grow together, we grow healthily. Nobody judges anybody just because, like, say I was starting off. Nobody made fun of me. These guys never made fun of me or anything. They just.
So like now when you have a gig, like one of your gigs, and like somebody else comes along, you guys all split the cash, like you guys pay. Yeah. So even because I saw that the other night at Paradiso, and it's like you could be greedy and just like no, I just want this one for myself and keep the money. But I think that long
There's some
term.
musicians like that. Yeah, and there are some who aren't at all. There are musicians who put the money before the passion. Then there are other musicians who put the passion before the money.
Right.
So
Yeah.
money will come, but if you're doing it and then you're looking forward to like your next paycheck, then it's just a job basically.
Yeah.
So then you've let your passion like slip, and I think that's a sad thing with most of us musicians. just waiting for the next paycheck, and
Right.
like as much as in this time, but back then because we were single, we had the energy to just go and just like rock out, finish at Westin, like say 69, then finish at 9 o'clock, rush to the Sheraton and continue from like 10 till 1.
Whoa.
Yeah, we would do that every night for like a whole
2
year.
gigs. And then you would come back to Suva?
That was in Nandi.
Oh, you were staying in India at the time? Okay.
That was
yeah.
like 7 nights a week, no day off.
Wow.
So that was rough, but because we were young, we could hack it out.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of passion, and we would feed off each other's passion just to keep us going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then when you have kids, passion is still there, but at the same time you have to be like realistic. You got bills to pay, you got mouths to feed. You can't expect to be like taking everything for granted. It's
You can't be doing this like, just for everybody knows, it's like, it's after midnight and we're doing a podcast, but you can't do this every night if you have wife and kids. So luckily it lined up tonight. So you're talking about, not doing it for the money and trying to balance passion and the need, because money is, unfortunately, we need it to provide for our families in this modern day and age, right? So actually, I was with one of my friends who's a Muslim guy today, and there's a lot of things that align between me and him, just with Christianity and Islam. And one thing that he said is like the right hand, and one thing they believe strongly is like the right hand shouldn't know what the left hand is doing, And so when they go and do good things in the community, like they don't want any promotion, because that's not why they. Like that's not honorable for them. Like to go and do charity work and then be like, hey, let's promote it for our own gain. And so he said to me like, money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
And so, how do you balance, the need for money and the need to, or like your passion for music? Because like it's always. There's always a tension when you turn your hobby into the money-making thing. And there's always a risk that I loved working on cars. That was just my passion. I love mechanics, so I became a mechanic when I was in Canada. And then over time, I lost the passion for working. I was like, I don't ever want to look at a vehicle ever again, because I did it all day long, and it kind of ruined that hobby for me. So has there ever been a time where you were like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore because you're just doing it for the money?
There was one. It was just recently the trip I did to UK, the tour.
Right. Okay. So we'll jump into it, I guess. So Miles got kidnapped, and now we're gonna tell the story of Miles kidnapping. Without saying any names or anything, that's not why we're doing this. I just think it's just an amazing story. And you know what? It'll happen to somebody else if they're not careful. And for instance, there was a group, there was 2 Fijian guys who jumped on a Chinese fishing vessel somewhere in Suva here, where they're gonna fish the Fiji waters and make a bunch of money and then get dropped back off. This is a few years ago. They ended up going fishing out to Lao and out in the outer waters, Tonga area, and then before they knew it, they were weeks out there, and then they ended up in China. Ended up in some sort of like a brothel, basically, or a hostel, where they were sharing a room with like 6 other people in this tiny room, no phones, nothing. And then they finally figured out a way to get some money. We found out a person who had a phone, and somehow ended up getting enough money to get their airfare back to Fiji. Basically escaped this like crazy situation that was supposed to be like a few days on a fishing boat. So you kind of have a similar but different.
Yeah, similar but different.
So how did it start?
Okay, there was a bunch of people that were supposed to go and feature on this tour. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, say maybe 6 of us.
Yep.
So we all read a contract that we were supposed to go and what's the word I'm looking for? collaborate, like to fulfill the contract that we had signed
Sure.
to go overseas
Europe.
in Europe.
Right.
And then few of the artists, their visas got declined. Mine, surprisingly, was one. I think the only one that was approved. And then people just started pulling out, and then it came down to just two of us. So then we spoke before we went. Me and this other Fijian musician, we spoke, and we were like, you know what? When we go, let's look after each other. You're married, I'm married, I have kids, you have kids.
Right. I see. Like accountability
Yeah.
partners, kind of. Yeah.
So let's look after each other and be what's the word? Let's be accountable for each other.
Sure.
Let's make sure we don't like slip. This is an opportunity. Let's help each other to go through this so that we can come back
Sure.
with all this money to help our families.
Yeah.
I was looking at it as an opportunity, and then when we went,
And I don't think Miles is talking about like make sure we don't cheat on our wives. I think it's more like, hey, when the gig is done, let's we're here for work. Let's not like stay an extra half an hour to hang out with people. Let's just take it. Gig is done.
Yeah.
Back to let's get some sleep. Like this is for money,
we
kind
were,
of thing.
we were looking for the money.
Yeah.
It's like just to help our families out.
Yep.
And then we went, and it's still a
Sore spot.
it's still a for me.
Yeah.
It was long story short. I went through depression for like 2 whole months. And in the depression, I wanted to quit music. I wanted to leave everything. I just wanted to come back to Fiji, but I didn't have money. I wanted to see my kids. All I could resort to was just FaceTime, and
That kills.
it really sucks.
Because you had a daughter just before you left, right?
Yeah, just before I left, she was born, and when I came back, she was. So she was 1 month before I left. When I came back, she was 6 months.
Wow.
That's how I realized I was gone for like 5 months.
Yeah. Kids really put a timeline. Like
Yeah.
they give perspective to time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize how fast time flies until you have kids. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Blink, 10 years gone.
So, yeah, like you said, long story short, the thing didn't end up going the way it was planned. The money he didn't get paid in the way that he was promised to get paid. Ended up not being able to get a ticket to come back home to be able to keep making money. And, I'm just thinking about this now. There's a lot of Fijians who are part of different programs, NEC program, and we've heard heaps of corruption things, like where guys go work in Australia or New Zealand, and then they end up getting slashed for their accommodation, slash off their income for food, and then they end up with like $50 after 2 weeks. And I think there's a lot of people, I'm just thinking about it now, a lot of people probably relate with that, and they're probably depressed because they're like away from their families, they're not able to provide.
Not able to provide.
So like I'm just thinking about like how can your story like give hope to somebody who might listen to this and be like, man, that's me. Like how did you get through it?
I didn't get paid for 2 whole months. So I sold all my gears back in Fiji just to pay bills and feed my family.
That we're here.
That were here. I sold my guitars, I sold 2 of my sound system, and it was really, really
Dark.
really dark. Yeah, there were moments I had like suicidal thoughts. But when I gave up all hope, I was so blessed to see people that I just met like coming together to help me out. And I met my Tabale Lekima, who just retired from the army, and he introduced me to all his friends, and
Like Fijians that are overseas?
everybody went out of their way to help me out. I wouldn't have made it back if it weren't for them. So I'm forever grateful to those people that have made it back. To the people whose house I stayed in, that took somebody who they just met to put a roof over his head and let him sleep and eat in their home. But I don't know what I'd do if I had chosen like a different
Right.
a different road.
Yeah. Were you able to share like you said, you had some pretty dark thoughts and struggle with some dark emotions. Were you able to share that with your wife, or were you just trying to be strong? Like, 'cause it's different on FaceTime, right? Like,
I shared it with her. And, actually, no, I don't think I shared it with her. I think she's gonna see it all. There was the first few nights we just every night for 3 months we just crying on the phone. And she's trying to be strong here, and I'm trying to be strong there. But it's hard when you're away from your wife and kids. And if you're single, you can hack it, yeah. But being away from your wife and kids for that long, I was supposed to go for just a month and like 3 weeks, and I got
just crush it and make a bunch of bank and come back.
I ended up staying for like 5 months,
Phew.
and everybody there and this is the part I couldn't get over. Everybody who was there who were trying to help me out, excuse me, they like took it upon themselves. Like they don't even know me. Like they met me through my tabale, but everybody gave me clues and
Wow. Wow.
yeah, gave me clues. And because I only went with like just a few clothes. I didn't pack like I was going for 5 months. Everybody gave me stuff and kept on telling me, "You're gonna be okay. Don't worry about your situation. You have good people here."
Dude, you should have called us, man.
That's what I told you. You should have called us.
Yeah.
You
A lot
never
of people,
told
yeah.
us till way later.
A lot of people were telling me
Like that,
Yeah, you should have called and like ask for help. It's not weak to ask for help, that kind of stuff,
No.
which is right.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I didn't want to be a burden to someone else. So it.
Next time you get kidnapped, then you make sure you call. Next time, okay?
We all get kidnapped together.
We get kidnapped together. But shout out to the Fijian community in France, in the UK. I actually know because a rugby player, he just passed away in France this last week, and I've got messages from people who, like, from all the different top 14 clubs, Fijian community, who, you know, have family and friends in all of these different clubs. They're going to help prepare the funeral and help out the family. And so you guys doing those kinds of things, driving across Europe to be with somebody who, you know, tragically killed in a train, colliding with a car, like, you know, helping people like Miles, helping us Fijians who maybe are fresh off the boat, like that goes a long ways. And we don't stop looking after each other, I guess, because you never know, you know, who you might be helping, and how much of a blessing just you showing up and chopping vegetables at a funeral or whatever you guys are going to do. Like, you have no idea how much that means to, you know, somebody like Miles, you know, or giving some of your clothes to him or a couple t-shirts and stuff like that. It goes a long ways, because, man, there's a lot of people with your story who end up in countries in different parts of the world. I know boys in Canada who came there with missions groups, and then after a few days or a few weeks, they kind of like, the rugby contract ends, and then they're just left to work digging trenches for a plumbing company, hoping they get paid, you know? Because they don't have a visa, they can't make money, so it's just cash under the table. And so, are you a man of faith?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and not practicing, but I still I still have faith.
Have faith. Yeah. Well, you can belong before you believe, and
Yeah.
there's lots of grace.
Lots of
God
grace.
has a lot of grace. Yeah. Has that? Have you ever had to lean onto that faith? Your belief in God.
It's funny, when we went over, I said a prayer before I got off the plane, and when I finally left to come back, I realized that all the things I prayed for were fulfilled. I prayed for a safe journey back. I prayed for me being strong and not falling into all that infidelities.
Yep.
So I didn't when I was there, and the third thing I prayed for was whoever I meet, if they could look out for me and keep me safe.
Yeah.
And that was fulfilled. I met this family, Kelly Levi, shout out to Kelly Levi. They looked after me. I didn't realize I had family as well there. My Tavale Lekima and his family, and my uncle Jonathan Smith and his family. And then from all those families, they introduced me to their friends, and their friends treated me like family, and they tried their best to help me out, to try and come back and not stress out with all the finances and all that. I found it really not overwhelming, but I found it very inspiring. You don't know what somebody else is going through until you ask them or they share, and it's amazing to see that that support that just comes up in your moment of doubt and weakness, and
Yeah.
when you're at your lowest, and people just come out of nowhere and they uplift you. Don't worry, bro, you're gonna be okay. Said, we're gonna look after you. What do you need? So then I'll keep to myself, and I didn't tell anybody. I think for 4 months or 3 months, I didn't tell anybody about my situation.
Just, dude.
But,
Next time, tell somebody. Yeah. Yeah.
it was that that whole Mandua thing. I was just Mandua.
Yep.
Because shout out to Olsen, when the George Fiji Picasso concert was happening here, I was in the UK, the homecoming. Yeah? So then everybody was, this whole controversy on the ticket prices, and everybody was complaining on social media. And then Olsen was telling all the Suva boys, boy, you ain't complaining about the prices. Miles in the UK making millions. That was a laugh. If only you knew.
Millions minus millions.
Stop telling people because it's not true.
That's so funny.
I wish.
Actually, the hilarious part about this, and I'm not going to say like I called it or whatever, but me and Tui, my content manager, who's sitting behind the camera right now, we discussed this on live streams, the on the mat live streams before the first homecoming concert, and everybody was complaining about how expensive it was and all this stuff. And I was saying, yes, in comparison to most maybe concerts or whatever things that you go to in Fiji, kava barrels and stuff, yeah, it's really, really expensive. But when you think about the artist that he was bringing in, and the venue that he was going to do it at, and the scale to which they were going to, do the screens, lights, lasers, fog, and sound systems, and all that kind of stuff, and the production that it takes, it was actually pretty fair. And we said, just watch. If this thing is successful, watch everybody latch onto this homecoming thing, and be like, everybody's gonna want to be the official sponsor, like official toilet paper, official drink, official transport partner, and that's what we see now for homecoming, the second homecoming. And I'm so excited for George and everybody who's involved in that whole event, that it's gotten to the point that it is. Because I don't think the discussion now is about price. I think it's now people are looking on themselves and like, how do I make enough money to afford this thing? Because it's obviously a great time. And so I love it when you create the market and you demand the price, and you create such a good product that people have to figure out a way to pay for that product. And so I think that what he's doing, I don't know what your relationship is with him or anybody on the stage, but I think what he's doing for music in Fiji, and just like the precedent that he's setting for artistry and gifts are worth something.
Yeah.
And it's like upsetting to me that we went and watched you tonight, like, and it was like free. I'm like, what the heck? Me and Tui are sitting there, and like when you and Trent and Olsen are on the stage, I'm like, this is ridiculous, man.
We're not judge Fiji because
Well, yeah, no, you're better, yeah. It's
I heard the whole complaining about the ticket prices, and I was thinking, why are people complaining about the ticket prices? I mean, this is George Fiji. He's done a lot for Fiji music. He's taken Fiji music abroad, and then moreover, he put Fiji in his name.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
I mean, what other artist would do that?
yeah.
George Fiji Likoso. He took Fiji,
Fiji.
our country name, and then
Yeah, and I've seen an interview, hey Tui, where he was talking about like Fiji is not, it's not me, it's for Fiji. Like he didn't name himself Fiji for himself. It was like to take, like what you're saying, to take Fiji to the world. Yeah. And I think that is that's a special mentality, and that's something to be handed down to the next generation, because there is I can see it. I feel it from certain artists or certain labels that there's this like clout chasing thing where it's like it's about me and it's about creating the next like TikTok danceable song, and ends up a lot of things starting to sound the same. But you do a lot of covers, like obviously as your live stuff. Do you do any original?
after what happened in the UK, I'm getting back into writing and hopefully releasing some stuff soon. That first song I showed you.
Yeah. So we got a little preview of Gold tonight in his car on the way here.
If you look down, there's no link, so don't bother.
When is that expected to be released? Ish. In the next
I'm
couple
hoping-
months?
Yeah, hopefully in the next 2 months.
Okay. As soon as it is out, he's gonna send me the file, and we're going to use it in some of our reels to kind of tease. What do you think? So, I've talked to different artists about this, and I said, look, give us the raw file, let us like chop it up for different parts of a reel, and like just release sections at a time. So people are like, what song is this? What song is this? And then when it's ready to be, when you're ready to release it, then they can go and download the full song. But I feel like building that hype by releasing parts of it is smart, if that's
Very
something you
smart,
want to do. But I think that song is gonna go well. It's somewhere between 2020 Experience, Justin Timberlake, and Backstreet Boys. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
What do you think? Is that fair? Or is that rude?
Don't judge me.
You even jump up an octave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like, all that stuff is like,
Brought in a
pays
whole
homage.
choir,
Yeah. Pays homage to the late 90s.
late 90s.
Yeah, I love it.
The funny thing, that choir bit you heard, it was just 2 voices. It wasn't like a whole choir.
I was gonna ask you on the way up, like, how did you do that?
So I was asking Unique. I wanted to have a choir bit.
Unique.
Unique, the DJ Unique.
Yeah.
Okay. He was the one that recorded that song for me.
Dude, this guy is
Shout out
behind
to-
all the good things, man.
Shout out to DJ Unique.
He's good.
He's very good.
So we're good friends with Steve, Seven Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Steve's brother live together in Canada. We're very close to each other, and he's a guy that I want to do a podcast with. He'd be a very good podcast. He's got some wild stories of his own. And okay, so Unique did some of the mastering or what?
He did the whole, because I stayed in his house. He had the recording studio and everything.
What? You stayed with him?
Yeah, I stayed with him.
Oh my gosh.
So he did the whole recording. I asked him because I heard him play, and he was But he was really good. If I was to compare him to somebody that I'm used to seeing here in Fiji, I would say he's something like Isaac from the gang.
Don't know.
Okay.
The gang, the gang.
R&B gospel touch.
Okay, yeah.
And they can do other stuff
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
But I think because most of the times you play by feel, and I love the way Isaac feels when he plays.
Yes.
He's
got
it's
similar.
the same, yeah. He's
Awesome.
got so much.
Now, did he grow up in Fiji? Or did he...
I think
Yeah.
he grew up in Fiji and then he left. Excuse me, yeah. He left with
Okay.
I think the whole family there, the sisters, the dad.
I listened to his remixes, reggae remixes, back in the early, like mid 2000s, when he was just doing like reggae remixes of songs, and then he started doing originals, and mostly with Steve that I know of, like Canada and all those kind of different songs. And no, that song
Yeah,
is
it
with
was
him, dude.
Really that helped me out. It was supposed to be just guitars, but I was asking him. I love his touch on the song.
Yeah.
He was reluctant at first, but then when we started putting some of the stuff down with the piano and stuff, then he started to
Feel it.
feel it. This is if the whole premise was the songs we listen to nowadays, if the devil can put his hidden messages in the songs we listen to, why can't we put a bit of gospel?
Sure.
stuff?
Yeah. Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
You're trying to just change up the whole
Yeah.
narrative.
Yeah.
Just make it different and hopefully inspire somebody or give somebody hope or somebody who's going through the same thing that we were going through. Like we all have what's the word I should use? We all have problems in all of our daily lives. I think the thing with us is Fijians, we have that pride. Nobody will say what they're going through.
Interesting. So you don't think that's just being shy? You think it's pride?
Yeah, I think it's pride. Don't judge me.
I think it's just a Fijian thing.
It's a Fijian thing. Nobody will say, like, talk about their problems. But I think just being with somebody when they're going through something, it means a lot. Like it means way more than giving someone money or just the ministry of just being with someone.
Right.
Just your company.
Yeah.
Because you never know who you would like help in a ginormous way just by sitting beside someone and listening to their turmoils and all.
Yeah.
You never realize everybody has the same thing. Everybody's going through something.
Yes.
I think just knowing that we are not alone in that aspect because we're all struggling, just be there for each other and we'll be okay.
That's cool. That's cool. So, if there's a kid or an adult who's listening to this who might be like, my parents want me to get a real job, but I just have this passion for the keys or for the guitar, for singing. How does somebody like I guess it's easier if you're in the city in Suva, but like I guess even harder if you're in one of the islands, Like, what's the best way for a kid to start to get gigs or to get in touch with the right people? Like, is there a group of musicians that are fostering up and coming talent in Fiji? Like, to
There are a couple. I think
because like luckily you found you were put in contact. You found Trent and like your road
Olsen. There's first off, obey your parents.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Listen to your parents.
Good advice.
Whatever your parents want for you, by all means do it. Keep your passion thing. Don't let go of it altogether. Keep your passion and sorry. Oh look, stars. Keep your passion and try and come into the right circle of friends. I think that's the main thing you need to. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of people that have the talent, but they're in the wrong circle of friends. The negative side of the music industry, the the womanizing, the alcohol, the drug use.
Right.
I've seen so much talented people whose talent just wastes away because they're with the wrong circle of people.
Yeah, yeah. So like, for instance, tonight we were supposed to go to Hilltop, right?
Yeah.
Hilltop, and like, I'm not the type of guy that wants to be seen in a nightclub. Just obviously not the right, not the right image for our brand or for my family and stuff like that. So we were supposed to be on the hill, on the top of the roof and doing live music. Then it ended up, because it was raining, pouring rain, so we ended up in the bottom. Obviously not in, the club is not open like a nightclub, but we were still in the facility. So I was a bit like nervous about that, and I can understand if you're a kid and your parents are super religious and stuff like that, like you can't go and meet these guys in the club or something like that. But you could go to Paradiso or something and run into Miles. I think you're there from Wednesday to Saturday.
Paradiso is more friendly.
Yeah, more friendly. It's just a restaurant, right? But like,
friendly.
yeah, if you're in Suva City, like, just try to find out where people are playing gigs and then go say hello, because even the kid that you had drumming the other night, he's only been drumming for what, like 8 weeks, a couple months.
Yeah, and he picked up really fast.
He's great. He's just solid. Like he didn't screw up at all. He had good feel.
Yeah.
And he was going, like, it was like he was. You could tell that he was learning, but he wasn't like providing any hiccups or anything. Like you guys were just like looking at him, and he would feel it out. And so I think like going to gigs that are maybe in safe spots, so you don't have to be a rebel and like going to nightclubs and stuff like that. Then show up and just be like, hey, I'm interested in music. I play this instrument, and talk to guys like Trent, talk to guys like Miles, and they can point you in the right direction for younger guys who maybe, are, because I think Olsen also teaches music, right?
He teaches music.
And so I just know I always had a passion for music, just never really grew up with enough, or with lessons and stuff like that. So, but all of my friends were into music, piano players, guitar players, or violin, and I think just having the right outlets. So we'd always jam together, and that was always just like it was just a fun outlet for us to be able to be comfortable with each other and speak a language other than English.
Yeah.
Like there's something else that happens with music. And so, yeah.
You find a different connection with like music. Music is universal. So say you're from two different countries, and you, let's say Brazil and Fiji, and we can't speak, they can't, there's a language barrier, so we can't understand each other. As soon as you mention a song, like say Bob Marley, One Love, they know that song. They'll sing it back to you. So music is like a universal language in a sense.
Yeah. It's the same thing. So Olsen sang a song. Olsen is Rotuman, and he sang a song in Rotuman tonight, and I was like, "Jeez, like I'm falling in love with Olsen right now." I was like, I have no idea what he's saying, but he'd be like, I think it was a love song to his wife, and I have no idea what he was saying, but I was like, I feel it. Like it's definitely romantic.
There's a conviction, eh?
Yeah.
That guy, you don't, man, what's the word I should say? Say for somebody who's not as well known as he should be, rightfully so. He's like the underdog that we all rooting for, He's
okay.
Yeah.
How is he underrated? Like, what is? He's just been. Is he new to the scene?
No, he's been around for a while. I think he's. He's just teaching music. He's.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's doing like 9 to 5 stuff on the side. Yeah. 9 to 5 on the side.
Yeah. He's very humble, very, very
I got
humble.
a question for
You got a question? Yeah, hit us.
Miles Manulevu.
Spider-Man.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on stage?
So question from the back was, what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to Miles on stage? Great question. Thank you. Thank you to the crowd in the background.
When somebody's asking,
Yeah.
well, this is going live.
Yeah.
No. He's lying.
What's the most embarrassing stuff that's ever happened to me on stage?
He knows something. Yeah.
Oh, would you like to tell this story? Okay, for that question, I'm gonna get Trent to answer.
No. I will you just
Which one? I can't. I've never been in Paris. I'm trying to think.
No, like, you know, you're never at a hotel and somebody wants to come up and dance with you or kiss you or anything like that.
Oh. Ah.
And you're just like, ah.
There've been a few, but I can't say it because there's kids present here.
Oh, okay.
Nothing too bad.
Okay.
Nothing I did. It's some stuff I witnessed while we were on stage. So yeah. So it's oh, it happened to me. Oh, duh. Okay. Something happened to me.
Every place you play is pretty tame, right?
Sorry?
Like tonight was really tame.
Yeah, really,
Like, yeah,
really tame.
chill.
Like we'll joke around on stage just to like feel happy, because when you're happy, you have your best gigs. You know,
Yeah.
your voice is open fully. You're not straining or anything, and then you're just feeding off each other's.
So when I first saw you play, you were singing with your wife. Do you guys still do gigs together? Yeah. Okay.
I think we joke around too much too on stage.
Yeah.
Maybe I can see
Yeah.
that one there, because that's family friendly story.
Sure. Yeah.
So we Fijian custom. So if you see a girl, you say, "Oh, Chinai," and say your kid's name.
Yeah, like mother of
Yeah.
my kid.
Like,
Yeah.
It's a joke, a Fijian joke.
Yeah.
So me and my wife were singing in Westin and
Westin Hotel.
Westin Hotel in Denarau, and she saw this Palangi guy walking, handsome bloke. She goes, "Oh, Tamay Nathaniel."
That's your son's name?
Yeah, that's my son's name.
Okay.
Nathaniel. Tamay Nathaniel. I joined in on the joke and said, "You know what? Next person to walk in will be Chinai Nathaniel." And then a gay guy walks in. And while I'm looking at him, then my wife goes, "Karawat! No. Karawat! Shh."
And all the people are like, what's going on there? All the staff are laughing probably.
Yeah, we joke around too much on stage.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
Another one.
Another question.
Okay, I have a question.
Oh,
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Oh,
Sit.
sorry, I've been holding it for the... That's why I was touching my...
Yo.
Wait,
Suva?
Chill. Oh my gosh, chill. Oh, I
Just remember, it's recording still.
Okay.
It's like, ah.
Oh my gosh. Make sure you cut this part out.
We're watching on mute.
Yeah.
She's watching YouTube on mute.
Oh, really? Sorry. What are we at? 40? 46?
59.
59. Nice.
Yeah. Wait. You can hear me.
Cancelled
Tell it.
Huh?
cancelled gigs
Yeah.
to be present at fundraisers.
Really? Yeah.
It's one of those people.
Yeah. And he wouldn't talk about that kind of stuff. Huh?
Yeah, you will.
Yeah. I just always think there's like one person who might listen to something one day and be like, oh, that's me. Yeah. There's a guy who He's a fiberglass boat manufacturer in Bau Landing, Frank Kamaguchi.
Yeah.
And he's a freaking hustler, man. Like, his story is wild. He was just telling me casually in the boatyard one day
I thought that's also
in Lambasa. And I was like, dude, we have to do a podcast together. Like, your story is so cool. And he's like, no, I'm not like that. I don't want attention. I'm like, dude, me and you, we don't do things for attention. It's because like there might be one kid who might hear your story. Yeah. And like be inspired to do something or be like, okay, yeah, I'll take the next step. And like, because it's not about us. So we'll come and we'll go. But to maybe leave something for that one person, that makes it worth it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's not this generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube, like
Somebody's going to
somebody.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. So, rolling.
Yeah.
Sweet.
your question.
My question.
Your question.
What song would you choose as your entrance music every time you walk into the room?
Boom, boom.
Into a gig?
For a gig?
Probably something from Queen.
Oh,
Queen.
yeah, nice. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Or something from Queen or something from Journey.
Dragon Attack. You know that song? Dude.
Steve,
Or something from
a Journey.
Journey?
I reckon Queen was one of the best bands to ever come out, and they transcended like all genres.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
did blues, they did country, jazz, they did opera. Boy, it's
You can really put them in a box
Yeah.
at the time when they were coming out. Yeah.
they were always something surprising that they would come up with.
Yep, for sure.
And they delivered. Like usually, most bands will stick to one genre, and this is their sound. And if they try to see if like they're a reggae band, see if they try to do something in like blues, they might not do well there because this is their sound.
Yeah.
Whereas Queen, just like a few of the cover bands here in Fiji, can go into different genres and still deliver on
Yes,
each
yeah.
genre.
And that's one thing I love about a guy named Juben. Juben? Eh? Yeah.
Band.
The rapper.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
And so, whatever you think about his music, I love that I know guys in the village who would never listen to a guy rapping in Fijian, but they say, no. Just listen to the lyrics. Listen to what he's saying and the way he's saying it. And then they're like, whoa! Like when they listen to the music and like, you're like, oh, you guys would never listen to this kind of music, but because of the way that he performs his art, it makes it really neat. So for people who are into different kinds, because I feel like Fijian music is in a very square box, and especially for kids in the village, it's like, we don't like that kind of music, That's for Suva people. That's Kaivalangi music, But press the boundaries, push them, because you never know what somebody might enjoy,
Everybody's different, eh? Different. Just because you would like something doesn't mean I would. Like everybody has their own preference.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Then you don't realize there's a lot of you find a lot of that commonality when you say actually you're song you like it and it's like, oh, you like something
Yeah.
that I like.
Exactly.
I'm not the only one.
Yep. Another question.
This is gonna turn into a multiple choice very soon.
If you could collab with any
Great
musician,
question.
who would it be?
If you could collaborate with any musician, question from the crowd in the back, thank you to Seriana. Who would you collaborate with?
That's a very good question.
Sorry, Seriana.
Yeah.
Does it have to be Fijian artist?
Yeah. Any. And why?
Fijian artist?
Any.
Any artist, okay. Oh,
And
jeepers.
why?
And why? They have to be alive.
Wide
Okay.
range.
Yeah, this is a big range. I think
660?
Hey.
Ah!
if internationally, yeah. Locally, I reckon I'd love to do something with Olsen. Because Olsen, I think Olsen deserves.
He's
deserves
he's
more
sick with it.
He's sick.
Yeah, he's sick, yeah.
And who's that other artist? Lepani, eh?
Yeah, yeah,
Lepani, I'd love to do something with him.
yeah.
It's,
There we go. There we go.
You know your. I know what I can do,
Yeah.
and I know what I can't do.
Sure, sure.
So I won't overreach to some gang that I know I probably won't like collab well with, because they're really good, and I feel like if I collab with them, I might just butcher the genre or the whole thing. So I'll just stick to the safe zone. I think I can work something really good with Orson, because Orson is also on the same mental.
Yeah, where's Olsen? Where did he go? He didn't come to the.
With his wife and kids.
Oh, okay. Oh, he has kids too.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Plenty.
Plenty.
He's a very, very, very good husband and father.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could sit down with Olsen one day. I mean, I know he's maybe not that tight, but again, he's the type of guy that has a story that might inspire
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah, Olsen's story too is very, very inspiring.
Not just that.
Not just that.
It's not my story to
Oh, yeah, okay.
I
Okay.
wish I could tell you what. But when you hear it, you'll be like this.
Yeah, I think we have to sit down with Olsen next time we're in Suva, and we'll sit down and hear his story for the first time. Yeah. One thing that I wanted to, before we close off, one thing that's been impacting me hugely, and I wanted to just share it with you for whatever it means. I've been studying in the book of John, chapter 21, verse 12. And so, only because you've been to our coffee shop in Senganga, and I'm very open about this, but it's not a profitable type of business. We're in Senganga. Everybody who comes from Vitilevu, you guys see our stuff. Most of you guys stop over, but it's just not the foot traffic. It's not enough foot traffic to make it a profitable business. So most of the time we're putting money into it, but it employs two wonderful women, and it is more than worth it to keep that coffee shop open just to give those girls a job. And I think it's important for us to give we do a lot of stuff online, and we talk about customer service, and we talk about this and that. It's good to have a tangible experience that people can go in and be like, oh, the Waka family and the Waka brand actually executes on the things that they talk about. So that's why we have that coffee shop. But one thing that's been on our heart is to do more ministry-focused things through the coffee shop. And so one of those things that we'll be launching in July when we come back from visiting Canada is a monthly breakfast for men and women.
Nice.
So like once a month we'll do, like maybe first week of each of the month we'll do a men's breakfast for the community, and then third week of the month we'll do a women's breakfast. And this is just something that's been on my heart for a long time to do. I don't know why, but it's kind of all coming into the picture now. I met with a Muslim guy when I was in Australia a few months ago, and he was like, the one thing that, and Senganga is largely Muslim, right? He said the one thing that, mostly. He said one of the things that like changed my life and reason why I became a Christian is just like love that didn't make sense. And it was like Christian people who like loved me for no reason at all that I could make out of it. And he said that's not common in my culture. And so that's why he had turned his life to Christ. And so that's what we want to do in our community. And I want to use Fresh Tea and Coffee to be more of like a ministry focused thing than like a business. And I think that will be like the exciting thing that we can do with that. But anyways, it comes from now realizing I wanted to do this breakfast thing. And one of the things that's always stood out to me the most, and when we get speaking engagements, I usually share this, John 21. And it's where after Jesus was resurrected, then he shows himself to the disciples, and it's where he comes on the beach and he says, throw your net on the other side. You know, when they don't catch any fish and they catch 153 fish and their boat's sinking, and then they come to the shore, and the first thing that he says to them is, come and have breakfast. And they come and have breakfast, and the next thing that it says is like they did not need to ask if it was the Lord, they just knew. And you know, this relates back to by the fruit you will know them. And I think that the fruit in that situation was like how Jesus served his friends. And a lot of us, a lot of pastors, a lot of just us around, we don't look at servitude as something that is like shows people that you love Jesus. And I think that, you know, in the music and the stuff that you do, you know, committing that to God and you know, trying to tell his story through, you know, your experiences and stuff, I think people will see that fruit. And just inviting people and like using your music to like serve people and as a medium to like tell your story to like bless other people. And I see that in the song, the solo, the original song that you've released. And so yeah, I just want to encourage you with that. Yeah. Because yeah, just continue to use your music to bless other people, and through that, you know, if done with the right intentions, it'll point to the Creator. So
All in good time.
yeah. Where are you going to be next, or where are you often? Because you're at Paradiso. So if you guys want to see Miles, where do they catch you?
Paradiso, Hilltop on Tuesdays, fortnightly at Beach House.
Beach House. Coral Coast.
Yeah, Coral Coast.
All right, and then Paradiso is what? Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Paradiso is Wednesday to Sunday.
Okay.
But I only perform Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. On Friday and Saturday, NEM has these two female artists that come and perform, and they're very
Sweet.
like they're like exceptionally good, but they're really, really good.
Right.
Powerhouse singers.
So if you guys want to catch him Tuesday at Hilltop or Wednesday to Saturday, if you come on one of those days for a couple weeks, you'll probably see him or other great artists at Paradiso, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, including Trent. Next time we'll get Trent and Olsen on here. Sweet. Thank you guys very much for joining. This was the Waka Family Podcast, and we're just here to tell stories, and hopefully if you heard this, maybe you're inspired. If you're not inspired, at least you know a little bit more about Miles Manulevu and our story as well. Thank you guys for joining. Catch you later. Peace.
Yes, guys.
Thank you.
No, thank you.